Welcome back to another episode of the Career Ready Great Dane podcast. It's a podcast at the University at Albany's Career and Professional Development Office, and I'm Jessica. And in today's episode, we are talking about the New York State Assembly Session Internship program. And we have someone that just completed the program, also worked in the Career and Professional Development Office, and I will let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Prajeeta Vaidya. I'm a senior. I am a poli-sci major with a minor in business. I am the intern for the Spring 2026 New York State Assembly Session Internship program, and I'm excited to talk about it today.
Thank you, Prajeeta. So you just wrapped up your session. What made you even interested in this internship program?
I feel like as a poli-sci major, when you come in, if you're part of Rockefeller College, they will give you, since your freshman year, they will talk about like internship because the Capitol is right there. They'll talk about the Assembly Internship Program. They'll talk about the Senate in Washington program, and poli-sci being like such a very theoretical plus like philosophical. It's a very reading and writing intensive course, and I wanted to have something practical experience. Like I read a lot, I write a lot, but I wanted to see how the actual politics works, how the bill works and stuff. And as my senior year, I was done with all of my credits, courses and everything. I had 15 credits left, and the internship gives you that 15 credits with stipend too. So that's a great experience. Plus you get to finish your program in a good note. So I just decided to go with that, and I got it.
That's great. I actually was part of the selection committee process, so I know how competitive and selective it can be. There were a lot of great applicants, so kudos for you for finishing up your senior year in such an applicable way. And I think it's a good point to know that you got credits and a stipend. I think some folks think with experiences it's either or, so I'm glad you got the and. So that's great. All right. So what was the application like from your perspective?
So the internship is just for the spring semester. So the application and everything starts from the fall semester. So you have to like get your resume in. You have to have 2 recommendation letters. You have to have a personal statement. And then once you have all those together, then you have to select what office do you want to work with? What members do you want to work with? What like issues are you more interested in? Then you have to select top 3 and write it down, like why and what member is it and what are you particularly interested in. That was the entire process of it. I won't say it's a long process. The only thing is like you need to get your resume checked because you are, like you said, it's a very selective program. You want to be one of the best that they see.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of students in UAlbany or outside of UAlbany because they take people outside from UAlbany. So you have to be standing out, first of all. You have to select your professors, your recommendation letters, who you are getting from. They need to know you because they are the one who makes you more credible.
Right.
So that was my entire process.
And what made you stand out, do you think?
I feel like as I have applied for like, there's so many things I applied for, and now I feel like I have like got it down to like 3 stuff. Like first being your resume, like your experience. Second is your personal story. And the third is like your credibility. So basically being more involved, being out there, knowing people, because you never know who you get to know. Because the person like Joan Marceau, who's my, also one of my advisors, she talked to me about this. She like pushed me towards this because she was like, this is a great experience. Might as well do it. So that's your experience that you get. Second being your personal story, because everyone applies for these jobs. Like you can't sound like robotic or monotone, like, oh, I want a job, I want an internship. You need to have like a story within you. Why do you want it? What makes you want to have it so much that this is something that you need in your life?
Got it.
Like your personal story is a very important thing. And credibility means like your reference letters. Like who do you trust? Because they do trust you, but they also want to know like a third person perspective. How do they see you? And it's very important to have those type of people around you who actually knows you, who can like support you and uplift you from where you are. So those 3 things were I think everything lined up perfectly for me. Thank God. So
yeah,
I got in.
and I think this is great for folks who may be thinking about this in the future. Start collecting experiences to add to your resume. Start making relationships with your professors who could be future recommendation givers, and really sort of hone in on your why. So folks can be thinking about that no matter where they want to apply. I think that's applicable for many internships, jobs, graduate school, et cetera. So that's good advice. So walk us through, so you got the internship, congratulations. Walk us through, what does a typical day look like? So it's a 9 to 5, you're doing this, it's like almost like an entry into a full-time job. What did it look like? What did you do?
So the internship is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We do have like some classes once per week. We meet for like morning briefing. That's on Monday and Thursday, but mostly you will be working with your office for like most of the hours. Mostly the things that I was more into was writing memos for my member, doing meetings with advocates, searching for bills that my member might be interested in, working with my legislative director closely, just helping what he needs more help with, because it's a long process. It's a very research intense process, mostly that I worked with. Like my office was very research intense.
Okay.
Yeah, because my member is a committee chair for aging. So we mostly focused on aging, like how, because we all age and people don't really think about it like that.
Sure.
So I was doing more research on like, okay, how aging is affecting people, what are the resources that are out there, just doing what are the concerns for the people and in our district too. So I was mostly focused on that. I also wrote like remarks for her speeches, just went to briefings to like brief her later so she could like sign on to bills.
Okay.
That's what I did mostly.
And how much interaction did you actually have with the assembly person?
She used to come here on Albany because she lives in the district. So she comes here every session days. So we have like 3 session days per week or 4 session days per week. So she comes here whenever she's here. I brief her to the things that I had meetings with. If I find a bill is a good bill, then I go up to her and ask her like, okay, this is the bill. This is what it talks about. Would you like to be a co-sponsor on it? Because this is closely related to what you are interested in and how our district is affected. So that's how I got to connect with her more. I did her Albany scheduling too. So made an entire plan of how her days looks like, then work through like, okay, this is coming up next. Like this is what you need to do right after. So that's the scheduling part and briefing part was the way that I connected with her the mostly. But if she's here, I talk to her. When she's in the district office, if I need her, I just call the district office.
Okay. That's great that you had a good amount of FaceTime. And you did a lot of various projects. I think that really helped you hone in some skills.
Yeah, definitely.
So because you had the 9 to 5 different projects you were working on, plus incorporating some classes still, how did you stay organized during that semester?
I feel like this entire internship will make you organized because you can't miss any deadlines. You can't be late on anything because it's not just you. Like your entire team depends on you, depends on the work that you give. So it's like you have to be so locked in everything.
Yeah.
Firstly, you can't like use any like, you have to be factual. You have to like be so paying attention to details because you can't do anything. So for organized, I feel like I'm pretty organized person myself because whenever the day before I left for the day, I used to have like a notebook and like write for me like, okay, tomorrow you have to do this. This is the meetings that you have to take. You have to meet with them. So the next morning when I come back to the work, I can be like, okay, this is the job that I need to do. So I always like keep myself like accountable for like, okay, this is what I need to do for this day. But assembly is so unpredictable because things happen.
Sure.
Yeah, and they don't even show up most of the time, and you just are like left with like, okay, now what? And most of in my free times, I try to make the most out of it because it's only 4 months, and if you think about it, 4 months is such a less amount of time.
Yeah.
So whenever I got a time, I just like did more research on like who my member is, what my district needs, how does a bill get passed, or like what's the governor saying? Like you have to make yourself busy all the time too, so you get the most out of it too. So that's how I kept myself organized. Plus I had this like L-shaped decks, which helped me a lot because it was like a lot of space.
Okay.
Yeah, so I love to like organize stuff like as, okay, a lot of papers, so let me section it out. Because if you see your desk when you come in and it's still messy, like you can't really work properly. Like it just stresses you out. It's so stressful to see my desk so messy. So I used to always like clean up my desk before I start anything, and when I leave I had my notebook with me all the time.
Okay. I'm glad you were able to, it sounds like you had some of those organizational skills walking into the internship, but I'm glad you were able to hone it and be productive during some of the downtime. So outside of just organizational skills, what skills do you think are important coming into this internship for anyone who might be interested? And what skills do you think you gained?
That's a very good question, because when you come to this internship, I feel like you have to be open-minded, because it is a political sphere that you're walking into. You need to realize that it's not just your own perspective that you're going into. There's like multiple other people. You might think like one issue is greater than the other, but that doesn't mean that everyone will think the same. And that doesn't mean that they're wrong too, because it's about experience. Like I might not have experienced what the other person has, but that doesn't mean that I will think that as a bad experience. So the skill that I learned from it is to be like open-minded and be very paying attention to details. Because everything is so based on facts there, because you don't want someone pointing you out and saying like, where did you get this from? And now in the world of AI, it's so hard to like find what's real, what's like a fake content. So you need to do like a very thorough research on everything you write, because it's not just for your member. It's for like, you are going to send those letter out to like 150 other members. So it's like everything depends on like what you write to. So I feel like being open-minded and being like open to any perspective and just being like nodding your head, being humble basically. That was a very great thing that I learned, and being more precise on what you do.
Yeah. And it goes back to your statement, although we were talking about letters of recommendation, going back to credibility, right? Because your credibility as an emerging new professional is on the line, the credibility of that assembly member and all the constituents. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, that you have to have accurate information, sources, and that's utmost importance. So that's good.
Yeah, because you're the face of like everyone there. So you have to be on top of your thing every single time.
Did you get matched with the member that you had listed in your application?
No, actually.
Okay.
But I'm glad that I have my member is Assembly Member C, right? And like, I'm glad that I have her. But I was mostly, when I went in, I was mostly a big sustainable girl. Like I wanted to work in energy sustainability.
Okay.
But when you walk in, when you get accepted to the program, the advisor of the programs, you need to speak with them. And when I spoke with her, I shared my values. I told her like I love office, which is like always doing something, and it's based on her. Like, how does she pick? How does she perceive you? She tried to match the stuff with her, and find out like what's best for you basically. But obviously, if you don't like the office, you can always go and talk to her, and she can switch the office as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a very not selective, but it's like what you're most interested in. Yeah, that's how they try to place you with. Because in my personal statement, I mentioned my grandmother, so I think like that's how I feel like my grandmother is my biggest inspiration. So I feel like that's how she placed me where I was placed, because aging. Sure. Yeah, so everything was related, but that's what I think. Okay. But I think like she saw something when I was speaking, so she placed me in the office, was like heavily on people, service, getting things done, and just working for a better community. So yeah, so it's like the overall vibe and environment over just like the actual I guess the area that you wanted to focus on. Even though it wasn't sustainability,
it's a busy office working on a mission that maybe you'd still relate
Yeah.
to. So I think that's interesting, that process of matching, even though it wasn't your initial expectation, like it was still a gift, and it goes back
Yes.
to you being open-minded and folks wanting this internship program to stay open-minded, that it might not be the perfect fit on paper, but it will all work out and you'll still gain a lot from it.
Yes, actually, because I'm glad that it was something that I was familiar with. It was something that I didn't know about, actually. And the member that I'm working with, like, she had so many other bills about, like, something like menopause. I have no idea how it could, like, affect people.
Yeah.
So that's...
But you might encounter
I
that
might,
at some point,
exactly.
right? You
I
might
might
not be thinking about it now, but yeah.
So it was like basically a new sphere that I walked into, but I'm glad that I had something which was not comfortable with me. Like, I stepped out of my comfort zone, basically. I stepped out and I was willing to learn. And I feel like this internship makes you do stuff like that, makes you do stuff that you never thought you would done.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Has this experience changed or confirmed your career goals and plans?
For me, I always wanted to go in like a law direction and like a diplomat direction, like international politics, stuff like that. So I feel like this experience has made my base stronger, because firstly, I never had an experience with like political like field. Like, this is my first political field experience. Now I know what legislation is, how it works, how to talk to people, how to network with people, like how to present myself firstly. So I feel like this has gave me space to grow. I am continuing with my member for a year before I go to law school. Hopefully I get in.
Okay.
Yes. So I will be working for a year because I want to know more about this field, because 4 months, again, it's a lot of short time, but I did have a great experience, but I want to do more like case study. I want to talk to her constituents. I want to do more so I can also feel like, okay, I'm contributing something to her field. For now, I feel like I'll work with her, then apply to law school, because legal field is my end goal.
Okay.
So probably I will branch out from that, from legislation to law, hopefully. So, yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to ask, I mean, you're graduating.
Yes.
So what comes next? So just to confirm, you are signed on to stay with your assembly member
Yes.
for 1 year and continue working with her in her office. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much.
It's got to feel good to have something landed, before you actually cross the stage.
Yeah, it's a great relief, because oh my God, the job situation is so horrible right now. But I'm glad that it's an office that I appreciate, I like, and I'm grateful towards, and which is always moving forward, because they always talk about service and for the people. So I'm glad.
So, sort of closing question, if you have any advice for folks that are listening that might be interested in pursuing this internship in the future, or even just maybe government, public policy, political science in general, what advice would you give maybe your first year, second year self?
I would say there is a lot of, when I walked in, there was a lot of people saying, be ready. Like, you have to be ready for this. But you can't be ready for something that you don't know. Like, you can try, but obviously there are times that I have got rejected by work. Like, I have been rejected in my life too. But it's just like, that doesn't mean that I wasn't ready. It was just the time wasn't right for me, or there was better people than me. There is always going to be that. So the advice I would give to people is never to give up. Like, I feel like it's so easy to give up nowadays, because there's a lot of competition, first of all. There's so many things going on. There's so many issues, and you are so divided already. So if you give up, then it's just like you can't go anywhere. So I feel like you need to bring the most out of everything you have and be appreciative towards the people around you, the work that you get to, and always keep on trying to move forward, because we are growing too, and it's always good to get to know more stuff. It's always good to like learn more stuff and be proactive in life. As a college student too. Like this is 4 years you have, then you will go out in a working field. So this 4 years, I think is such a crucial time because I loved my year here, and I feel like every time I look back into it, I don't regret anything. Like I'm glad I went to those like events. I'm glad that I joined clubs. I'm glad that I'm in Res Life. I'm glad I did career services. Like everything I did, I'm just glad. So it happened because I never stopped trying.
Yeah.
So I think
that's great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just keep moving forward is helpful to get ready, to be ready for whatever opportunity presents itself. And you might get 3 rejections, and then you might get one that fits.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not the perfect fit, but it's at least a little bit of more experience on your resume. So saying yes to more things, I think is super important. And you did that really well. I think you took advantage of all the opportunities this campus offered, and you made the most of your time here. And I think there's no regrets when you do something like that.
No, the only thing I could think about is like, oh, well, I wish I could do more. But like the time, we just have 24 hours. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I feel like I had those great experience. I had great people around me to help me with those experiences too. So you just have to like find the people who can help you.
Yeah.
And just keep on moving forward.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all of that great advice and sharing your experience. I'm glad that it is turning into a full-time job. Yes. Good luck in law school. We've really appreciated your help in the career office too. It's been great getting to know you. And that's it for the Career Ready Great Dane podcast. And check out the next episode. Follow us. We're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or you can check us out on the website, and feel free to submit a review. I'll see you next time.